Hey guys, today I am sharing with you my absolutely delicious, moist, flavorful turkey meatloaf. This is my go-to recipe for pretty much any occasion. If you've been a guest at our house, you've probably had my meatloaf because it is so easy and it is just so good. So let's go ahead and get started. In a bowl here, a large bowl, I'm going to go ahead and start off by grating some cloves of garlic. I'm also going to mince finely. I have maybe about a quarter to a half of an onion, depending on the size of your onion. This was a small onion, so it was about half of the small onion. And I'm going to finely mince that up into really fine pieces. You want it to be really fine because you don't want too big chunks of onion in the meatloaf. You want everything to kind of be the same consistency and size. I'm going to add that into my bowl. I have a bell pepper here. I'm going to use about a quarter of that bell pepper, and I'm also going to finely mince that up. About the same size of the onion. Let's go ahead and finely mince that up into little tiny cubes. So after they've been nice and finely minced, we're going to go ahead and add it to our bowl. And this is pretty much all the choppage that you will have to do. Really, that is what I love about this. I don't have to pull out a whole bunch of veggies and chopping. Now we are going to add several other ingredients to it, but this is as much chopping as you really need to do. So that is all done and ready to go. I have my ground turkey here. I am using 1 pound of ground turkey. You can double, triple, quadruple this recipe. I have done it many times. Let me tell you, I have tripled this recipe when I have a large crowd coming over, and just triple the ingredients. But turkey is one of my favorite meats to use for this because it doesn't ooze out fat. It still has really great texture. It's really nice and moist, and it just works perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and season that with some salt as well as some black pepper. We're also going to go ahead and add in some ground grated Parmesan cheese. Also going to add in a little bit of ketchup. And of course, guys, all the amounts will be listed below in the description box for you guys to help you guys out. Make it a little bit easier. Also going to add in some mustard. Really need that mustard flavor in there as well. Some good quality barbecue sauce. All of these flavors together they're just perfection. Also going to go ahead and add in some breadcrumbs, and I'm going to add in some whole milk. You can also use any kind of milk that you normally use. I just normally use whole milk. And we need 1 large egg for this 1 pound of ground turkey. So all we're going to do now is just get our hands in there and incorporate all of our ingredients together, and that is how easy it is. We're just going to kind of work this together just for about 45 seconds or so to really incorporate everything. You don't want to overwork your meat, but I definitely want to make sure that everything is incorporated, and I actually like to fold my meat over on itself for a good 10-15 seconds or so just to make sure that everything is incorporated, and I do have a really nice texture of my meat. You can see how my meat holds together really well. It's still super moist, but it holds its shape really, really well, and it's not falling apart on itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get a baking dish. Now this is a small portion because I'm just making a small portion today. So I'm using a small baking dish, and I'm going to go ahead and just plop my meat in there, and we're just going to form this into a loaf. Now, if you make a thicker loaf, it's going to take a little bit longer to bake. So if you flatten it out a little bit, it might take a little bit shorter to bake. Really is depending on also how big of a meatloaf, how much pounds of meat you're using. This is going to take about 40 minutes or so to bake. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this to let this sit for about 15 minutes while I wash my hands up and I go and preheat my oven to 350 degrees, just to let those flavors mingle a little bit before they bake. So wash my hands up, preheat my oven to 350, then we're going to pop this in the oven to bake for about 40 minutes or so, and then we're going to go ahead and make our brown sugar glaze for the top. So in a saucepan here, I have some ketchup. I also have some barbecue sauce. I'm adding in some ground cumin, some brown sugar. Just gonna mix that together, put this on our stove just till that sugar melts down, and then we're gonna remove our meatloaf from the oven carefully because it will be hot. Go ahead and take the meatloaf off, and that is just absolutely beautiful. We're just gonna pour our sauce on our meatloaf and get it all on the top and around the sides and the edges and everywhere that you possibly can, because that sauce just balances off everything. It's a tangy, sweet, salty with the meat and everything. It is just perfection. And we're going to pop this back in the oven still at 350 for another 15 minutes or so, just till it kind of caramelizes a little bit on top. It kind of adheres to the meat so it becomes one, and you're pretty much done. Now what I love about this is you can just throw everything in a bowl, mix it up, pop it in the oven, and you've got yourself a really great meal. What you can do is just serve with some great sides, potato salad, macaroni pie. You can also do things like bread, rolls, whatever. And you've got yourself a great meal. I was serving this with some potato salad, and I actually had some sweet potato fries that I was serving this with this day. But you go ahead and have fun with it. I'll have all the amounts listed below. I hope that you guys give this a try. If you try and you enjoy it, let me know. This is one of my favorite things to make. And I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.